Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you most cordially to this expert forum today, and it is a great pleasure for me to have this event after many starts and now have an event with many people here. I'm Stefan, 47 years old. Since 2003 I've been working for the Würth group, and since 2008 I've been working for Industrie service, and I'm in charge of 3 areas: IT, classical IT, on the other hand digitalization, innovation, and the third area refers to our customer systems, that is, smart accompaniment of our IoT systems. And, over the next 25 to 30 minutes, I would like to share our thoughts of how we see the assembly workplace in the future, and this from the perspective of a C-parts service provider, and of course also from the perspective of industry service. A look at the past. Where do we come from? Where are we today? What is in store for us in the future? We've got three parts of the presentation is organized accordingly. Now, I would like to start, and I think Martin Royce, towards the end of his presentation, touched on these issues very well, so this is a very good transition. The systems are the central element of our business model. Over the last 20 years, we've been accompanying this topic, i.e. system development. And if you look at our role, the part we play vis-à-vis our customers, then 20 years ago we had hardly any support from systems, delivered parts to the customers. And then confidence and trust was increasing. Responsibilities, expectations of our customers also increased. Kanban systems were introduced, then the central warehouse, so we supplied production lines. And today, we are increasingly discussing the expectations, i.e. they expect that they will go closer to the production processes in terms of logistics supply, and increasingly it is also about the supply to workplaces, to supply parts to workplaces. And this not on the basis of standardized processes, but system-oriented solutions in the facilities, at the facilities of our customers. So this means things are changing. Trust in the capabilities, the expectations of our customers, but also social trends as well as social changes which take place, going hand in hand with all this development. Now, what are the essential driving forces behind all this? That is when it comes to mega trends, and these are the things which I would like to address in the introduction or first part of my presentation. Martin Jaus touched on this already. Shortage of skilled workers. So if you look at industry service, look back a few years, then this was IT and any other jobs close to IT, and we've seen challenges in the acquisition and requisition process. Now this involves all departments, including logistics, and I assume that this is the same in your case as well. So we focus on our core jobs. We automate our processes wherever it is possible to automate them in a meaningful way. And we also outsource jobs to partners who have got a key expertise in the respective field. A little example, we as the C-part service provider concentrate on, say, the business or the process of supplying C-parts and take on this job from you, dear customers, so that you can focus on the A and B parts. This is one aspect, and the other aspect, we've got an aging society, and this in relation to the shortage of skilled workers. So I should say that this is something which we have to take into account on our way into the future. Workplaces must be ergonomic, reduction of workloads. Then we have a department looking at innovative workplace concepts, and this is actually an issue which must be addressed, and this is what we do in order to bridge the respective gaps. Technologies play a role, exoskeletons, robotics, all the things that we are trying out in logistics, they all kind of counteract or reflect the processes. If we look at the assembly process, then there are more and more variations. Batch one of the key words also talking about the specific assembly process. One please flow, another catchword. So you can say that this development also brought about new challenges for the C-part provisioning section. We accompany this process. That is, we have to make material available in a more flexible way. The variety of parts, it is getting larger and larger, surely, and also the possibilities of offering the respective components. To do all this requires intelligent, smart systems, which I'm going to introduce over the next few minutes. It also needs connectivity. And the systems and processes have to interlock, so to speak, and this will give us the possibility to shape, design, develop processes and further develop them. And then the last issue or block of topics addressing workplaces refers, from our perspective, means making optimum use of resources, then organizing goods flows, and also optimum supply of our workplaces in production on the shop floor at our customers, i.e. the path from the warehouse to the workplaces. This is a challenge, certainly in this respect. It is all about bundling, pooling quantities, tied capital versus supply frequency and available inventories or parts at the workplace. Now, the top objective is increasing efficiency, gaining productivity. For you, as our customers, i.e. save distances to be covered, save times for our or your workers. At the end of the day, this means reducing costs. This by way of introduction to this topic. What was the situation yesterday? What was it like yesterday? You see, the worker was in the focus, was center stage of everything that is going on, of assembly, that is. And in addition, this role of assembly worker or production processes worker, they also had to do a lot of unproductive processes, logistics processes, which had to be handled around the entire job. Having a closer look at the shop floor, here we see two workplaces, and we also see our central warehouse outlined here. And surely this chart will be with us during this presentation, how it has changed over time and where we see any changes also over time and what we think will be the future. What is the process or sequence of steps? The worker at a decentralized workplace is responsible for supplying C parts, either getting them from the central warehouse or also from the respective supply supermarkets. Transparency is given in the central warehouse because of our tracking system which we have. The level of automation, well, I should say it's relatively low, and this means this is not ideal in terms of costs, because the time for unproductive jobs is relatively, say, long, so this is time lost. As industry service, we invested a lot of, say, energy and time and effort in looking at the processes and Kanban systems of our customers and at our place. In the past, we focused on the processes which we need on a production line or in our warehouses. So the foundation we laid was standardizing our systems. 1.8 million bins, this is what Martin Reuss mentioned, and 95% of these are black, and they are called BKLT 2.0. This means 95% of our shipments and dispatches, which we deliver to our customers in terms of Kanban, will be done using our own bins. 20 years ago, the situation was different. Every customer has got its own type of bins, its own color, coding, different shelf systems, different variations of this. And this was consistently standardized over time. There are two major aspects involved here. Well, using standardization, we were also able to achieve digitalization. Today, nowadays, in addition to standardization, we also have digitalization, and we forced this. And of course, at the same time, it was an enormous gain in productivity within our logistics systems. The workers are in a position to use standardized processes, making things easier for them. And without, keeping up some of the other aspects. 95%, as I said, 95% of our bin supplies are integrated in a standard process today. After standardization, we digitalized our processes, accelerating our processes, making them more transparent, and every BKLT has got an alpha defect, which we use to control our processes and to trigger respective requests or requirements. This is how we achieve things. Another important element in supplying parts to production lines is our iShelf. It's 10 years old now. A few weeks ago, it celebrated its 10-year birthday, and it makes us very proud that we've been using RFID technique in our systems for 10 years. How does it work? A bin gets empty, then it will be placed on the top shelf. It is equipped with smart systems. An RFID reader is integrated. The bin is detected, identified, and sometime later we've got the respective information. So we've increased transparency. We get closer to manufacturing. Today we've got 3,000 RFID readers or systems in position, in place at our customers, and we are quite convinced and happy that we've followed this process in a very consistent manner. Now, what do we need if you want to supply a specific workplace? Smaller bins. Well, this is a kind of principle or basic discussion, talking about small bins. There is not enough or sufficient space at a workplace, and here we cannot really use our standard bins and containers. So a few years ago, we started to develop bins, which is based on the classical BKLT. It's a small bin. It's got a cover. It can be stacked. It's got a lid. It can be used like a recyclable or reusable wrapping, so that we will be able to optimize processes in logistics and prepare everything for the workplace. To sum up, looking at workplace supply, looking at concepts in the past, the ones which we used, this was characterized by unproductive times, respective sequence of steps. The workers had to do logistics activities, long distances to be covered, searching around, looking for things. So this is unproductive activities and actions. And the central warehouse, well, it was automated, but the workplaces were not yet interconnected, and not equipped with the respective technologies. What is the situation today? What are the problems we face today? This is quite interesting, because these are concepts which we're going to present during our exhibition today. So this means you will be able to get to know these systems live. Technology is being increasingly used in processes. The processes get faster. Processes become more productive. Then we've got the smallest bin projects. How are they executed? These are processes which we've installed at our customers. 2 circuits, 1 circuit or loop between Bad Mergentheim, our logistics warehouse, and our customers' places, and then in between the supply station. Then there's a 2nd circuit between the central warehouse and the workplace. The smallest bin is being prepared in terms of logistics. Our classic BKLT is the parent bin or transportation bin. And, there is an empty parent bin which is scanned in the central warehouse, and it will make sure to get the respective parts. It's not about smallest quantities to be supplied from Bad Mergentheim. No, we want to see the standard process, and we want to make sure that the supply with the smallest parts and the respective circuit, i.e. between the central warehouse and the places of our customers, are guaranteed, are ensured. Now, in order to have these smallest bin systems implemented, we need solutions, we need systems. And these are the things I would like to introduce to you during the rest of my presentation. What is the current situation? We've got this iPlacer. This is battery driven. It has the size of a smartphone. It's very flexible in terms of using, so it can be used at the workplace. I hold it in front of a bin, then there will be a signal, and a few seconds later the respective information will be sent to Bad Mergentheim. This is an empty bin. So this means bin management systems will be informed, or at the central workplace, or rather central warehouse, we see that this bin is empty. It will be a signal, and this means as soon as this beep can be heard, then this means respective information has been transferred. I also mentioned that we are not talking about a sufficient space. We do not have the space which you might have at on the shop floor, or say in a central warehouse. We are increasingly using the one bin system. So a company, which we are not a company who has forced this one bin system in the past. There's a good reason for that. The Kanban system which we have and which made us grow is the two bin system, and it is certainly the means of choice, because wherever this is possible in terms of space, and this against the backdrop of process security and costs for the infrastructure, we believe that this is the best solution. So we still favor the two bin system, but the workplace may say that the respective space is not available and you need different solutions, and therefore you work out good solutions in cooperation with the partners, that is the customers. Here we developed our good system, and you can have a look at it in our exhibition this afternoon. It's battery driven, a system with narrow band IT technology. So you've got a small SIM card in each and every system. It means it's self-sufficient, can be taken along from one place to another, can be used flexibly at this or that workplace, and as soon as a minimum level of inventories has been reached, then this scale will transmit this information to the system. So it's very precise, just at the push of the button. You know the quantities, you know the parts, etc., etc. We've got 3 sizes which we plan to introduce to the market. This is the smallest size. It's BKLT 2115, and there will be 2 slightly larger variations which will reach the marketplace over the next few months. And then there's a third solution. It addresses workplaces. This is our iDisplay. It's the electronic labeling system, which is almost an offense, to call it an electronic label, because it's the smallest but at the same time most powerful system in our IT family. There's a display, 2 LEDs, 4 buttons, and offers unlimited possibilities when it comes to organizing our process. This is great on the one hand, but on the other hand, it is also a bit, uncannily complicated, thinking about the unlimited possibilities you have with such a system, saying, this has been conceived for this or that, say, application. I brought along a few examples. We've installed it, and you will see them this afternoon. So replacing the paper label. You might say, well, this is a very expensive label which we are using here, which we're going to install, so to speak. So the question arises, how does information change? How can you exchange information? When using a paper label, then you know what the challenge is. Then feed by lie. This is also relevant to the workplaces. I mentioned the iPlacer empty bin. Hold it in front of the iPlacer central warehouse. A light will light up, and then the respective numbers of articles will be shown, will be displayed. So then you click on it or push the buttons, and then things will be continued. The processes will be completed, or the scale, goes below a certain minimum level. Then the order is sent to the warehouse. The respective colleague is going to pick the respective goods, and things will be dealt with accordingly. Or there are specific assembly jobs I have to do on the shop floor, and the system will guide me through the various working steps, which parts have to be picked and which parts have to put together in which way. The reordering also at the push of the button. And article identification, article search. You've got smartphones, you enter the article number, item number, push a button, and the system will show you where you can find this article. Or we use our VIS portal. Everything is handled or administered through it. And this brings me to the VIS portal itself. So today's role of the VIS portal is a system providing information, a management system for our customers. So here you can access, say, deliver statistics, bin status. You can find out where is the bin on the shop floor in Bad Mergentheim to be filled, or is it on the route towards you. Standard access for halls, for individual locations, but also, across information across countries. This was our entry into the system world, and it is a central element which we want to consistently further develop. But again, at the end of my presentation, I will address this issue in more detail. Our systems have been introduced for our processes and for our products. This means our RFID solutions are to be used in order to handle the C-part flow and, shape and organize whatever is going on between us and our customers' facilities. But we increasingly discuss that our customers want to use our systems for their processes, workplace, empty bin, and the system, doesn't care whether this is a C-part coming from Bad Mergentheim or whether this is a product article which has been produced at the customer's premises and has to be integrated into the workflow. But this means that the system has to be opened and must enable our customers to access these systems and, use our systems at the same time, or rather, our processes. This means we see our company changing from a C-part service provider to a system service provider, process service provider, now offering processes as a service. So this means we imagine that we can offer our entire system in terms of processes to our customers so that the customers can use our systems for their purposes. So this is a well-known picture. Here you see the sequence of steps. What do they look like today? The bin becomes empty. Member of staff, the worker, on the shop floor scans the smallest bin, and using the iPlacer, then the order is triggered using the scale. All this is done automatically. The worker in the central warehouse gets information about the scanned bin, has got the possibility to use a feed-by-light system coming from the iDisplay, can pick the respective parts, make them available, and then for a tugger train or for filling a specific workplace. So all this is made available. This means the entire process becomes transparent. Everything is automated. And the question, of course, is how can C-parts reach the workplace from, say, the central workhouse or from other places? And what about the future? Where do you want to go? We, Würth Industry Service. I think it is important to understand that the scenario which I have shown you now is that together with our customers, we want to implement this new vision. We want to move in this direction. The scenario which we see for the future goes beyond this idea. We haven't reached this level yet, but I would like to give you a perspective and outlook on the potentials and, of course, the development of our business model. From a perspective of a worker on the shop floor at a workstation, machine and man are working together in a cooperative manner. Collaborative robots have become a standard in the production processes already. Technologies gain significance in the production process itself, and from industry service perspective, I can say that the system which I've just described are, getting closer to the workplace. This is what we want to do, and we also try to interconnect things at a workplace, ergonomic workplaces. The respective systems are in place, and these two aspects are interlocking, are meshing, are cooperating very well today. What we do not see today is that our processes can also be integrated into or interconnected with an assembly process on the customer's premises. This includes ordering systems also connected, and at the end of the day, everything involved in the process will be handled in a much better way, in an interlocked or meshed way. Our core competencies are logistics supply concepts. This means we do not say that assembly systems are being developed by us. But you see, we also see that assembly or shop floor work cannot be done without the respective self-sufficient independent systems. We have the idea that our systems can be interconnected with the infrastructure at our customers. That's one aspect. The other aspect is that our IT systems have been conceived in such a way that we could communicate using interfaces. And this is another point I'd like to address here. We offer a platform which will help systems to talk to each other, which will interconnect systems, or we offer platforms and systems are brought by us. But again, a few more details about this a bit later. And then there's one topic, I mentioned it before, that is, how do goods reach the workplace coming from the central warehouse? The request was sent, ID reader, the scale, we talked about it, at the push of a button on the eye display. But, everything's being prepared at the central warehouse. But how do these products then reach the workplace of our customers? The worker picks it up. That's not a good idea. We discussed this already also against the backdrop of the shortage of skilled workers in this respect. Surely it is worthwhile thinking about it. Tugger trains are standard today at many of our customers, and they are compatible with our systems in a seamless way. Or there will be an autonomous vehicle, these AGVs taking these goods to the workplace. Now, this is a system which we are thinking about in more specific terms, actually. That is how our systems can be integrated into such solutions. An autonomous vehicle can bring bins, can bring containers, but can also exchange whole shelves and replace them by new things, also can, handle the respective new goods arriving. Again, this is an aspect which you can see at our exhibition this afternoon. We want to show you our first ideas which we have. The second part, assembly assistance systems. We are a C-part service provider. We are certainly not a company which is producing these assembly assistance systems and integrates them. No, there are many good companies in the marketplace. They offer professional solutions, but at the end of the day, assembly and C-part provision is something which works hand in hand or hand in glove, if you like, and is interconnected. So we've got the assembly instructions, individual steps are worked out, and the workers are shown through or guided through this sequence of steps to be handled, and this also involves the interconnection of systems. And at the end of the day, the assembly process is broken down according to steps, and it will be possible for the worker to go through this process in a very, say, clean manner, and documentation is also possible. Now, training time, error proneness, the various process steps which are being checked, traceability of the production data, all this is guaranteed. So which data are being stored where in the system, what are the core components, then as I said, the assembly instructions, tool tracking, reproducibility of production data, etc., etc. And this means that we will be able to optimize processes involving all the data necessary. Data. We collect a lot of data, an unbelievable amount data from the entire supply obligations, from our processes, from our systems. We have systems and have developed it and digitalized it consistently over the last few years, and these systems are to be of benefit to our customers. And the idea in this context is to channel our data through the WIS portal using digital screening. This means all systems which we install at our customers, an iShelf, an iBox. Here we want to offer workplace solutions, which I've just introduced to you, but also automated systems, output systems, issue systems. All this is to be mapped in a system world so that the customer can handle all the logistics of supplying C parts can be dealt with in an optimum manner. And this means assembly and assembly processes will also be kind of integrated, interconnected with the overall system. And the end result is a central system. We've got a central entry point for our customers, a central communication point for our customers. Then we've got process information, availability information, interaction with us as a C-part service provider. That is, if things have to be added, if you run out of certain articles, or if a bin has to be added here or there in this or that place, this is provided by the WIS portal. It's a portal right now, but it is to be interconnected in order to become a kind of virtual overall overarching system, making available all the services required at a customer. And we might have a 3D print portal, or myself, this is another service we offer, so that at the end of the day, the customer can manage and administer everything. This is an assembly system, at least on a platform, as a kind of entry point for the customers. But yes, well, a kind of administration point for our customers. Now I would like to draw your attention to the core of our business model. C-parts management. This is the core of our business. And over the last decades, we've professionalized this in systemic terms. We are the market leader when it comes to logistics supply chains. We are not the market leader for autonomous logistics vehicles. No, we are not, data assistance systems market leader. No, definitely not. But we see our job to interconnect all these systems. Assembly without the supply and the provision of C-parts will not work. So in the future, corporations will play an increasingly, say, intense and important role. In the past, we always entered into corporations when it is about the production of our systems. But these systems were developed according to our ideas, our experience. But in future, we want to enter into corporations, and we want to come up with the best solutions and want to interconnect these solutions with you. And we have therefore 3 companies in our exhibition: MBR, mobile robots. This is the production of system, a very interesting topic actually. And here you see the interaction and the relationship between workplace and material supply. You can see that Ulixis is here, another company offering assembly assistance systems, and Super, also another company. They offer bolting or screwing systems in order to give you an impression where we stand as Würth Industrie service and where we see the next steps in the future. All right, let us have a look at this chart again. It has been with us during this presentation, and technology is being increasingly used. Processes from logistics perspective can be compared. The worker triggers the respective requirements using our systems, but then it is no longer a target train or logistics worker carrying these parts to the workplace. No, we've got these AGVs doing that. And all these systems are interconnected, and this means we have a holistic, say, approach in terms of optimization of processes. By way of conclusion, I should say concepts which were good yesterday need not be, say, poor or not good today. These are ideas with a view to the development of workplaces. This block in my presentation was a bit larger because the system which we have, the situation we face today, I just wanted to make it clearer to you, looking at the various process levels, that we can offer you good systems. We're looking to the future, interconnecting our systems, give you an idea, an inkling of an idea of what's, say, up our sleeves. And the concepts, as in the past, are good. I do not want to talk it down, if you like. If you've got a central workplace, if it is about central supply of systems, then I can only say that the range of possibilities has widened. We've got a whole bunch of solutions available for you. They do not address only a central point, but have been broken down in very small granular items so that they can be integrated into processes seamlessly. And the processes of our course are more reliable, are more interactive. Now they interconnect more and more internally at our place, but also or on your premises. This brings me to the end of my presentation. I would like to thank you for your attention. Thank you.